Hello everyone, thank you for joining me for my newest video. Today I wanted to do an update to the first video I ever did, which is a collection tour of my collection room. My last one was about 6 months ago, and I was still kind of in the middle of getting a whole bunch of new pieces in. I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I didn't do that as much in the last video, but I started out collecting probably about 2012, 2013 when the Black Series came out, and I started collecting those and Marvel Legends. But over time, it just got to be too much, and there was too many of them, and I didn't have the room to display them all. So this past summer, I decided to sell a lot of those off in the hopes that I could buy more Hot Toys figures, because I had been buying 1 or 2 Hot Toys a year and really loving them, and I decided to go all in on Hot Toys. I sold all my Black Series, all my Marvel Legends, DC Multiverse, got rid of most of that, got rid of a lot of the Funko Pops, like really narrowing those down too. So I kind of shortened it down to just Hot Toys, statues, and kind of more higher end things, just so it doesn't take up as much room for me, because am running out of space, and you'll see that I'm even kind of running out of space again, but I still have plenty of room, I think. So that's where I was at. The last collection video, I was still kind of in the middle of rearranging things. So now I'm at the point where I've got most of my shelves all the way filled up, and so I think there's a lot of new stuff for you guys to see, which is really awesome. I will say real quick, if you guys have any questions about how I display anything, like the shelves and the lighting I'm using, I do have a video on that, and I'll link that down below. But let's get into the collection tour. I'm going to start with the Marvel figures, and then I'll work my way over to the Star Wars figures. So, and then I'll also just do a quick little miscellaneous kind of section, because I do have some other stuff in my collection that's pretty cool too. So let's start with the Marvel. So before we get started, I wanted to give you guys a quick kind of overview of the whole room before I go figure by figure, just to kind of give you a little 360 view. Some Funko Pops, some Transformers up there, just for a quick overview to see what the overall thing looks like. So now I'll start with the Marvel display. What you guys will see I did from the last video is I tried to organize the tops of the shelves to make it a little more in line with what the theme is for like this side. So here I've got a bunch of the Marvel posters behind my Marvel shelves. If you guys are wondering where I got all these posters, it was at Five Below. It was a poster book of like 12 different posters, and those picture frames are from Dollar Tree, so it's not a pricey ordeal to kind of get that set up, and I think it looks really awesome. I've got my 3 Marvel details, and I'll just back up. That's kind of what it looks like. I think it's really cool. So on top of them, for here, I got a couple Marvel sets. Thanos up top there. Thanos is easily my favorite Marvel villain, so got him there, right front and center. And then I'm not buying too many Funko Pops, but I thought this super tall Endgame Thanos pop was super cool, so I like having him on display. With the Infinity Gauntlet there, that's just the Marvel Legends one, but I think it looks super awesome. And it kind of gives you like a whole Thanos, kind of has his own little monument to Thanos there. But moving down to the figures. First up, we got Infinity War Thor. This is a figure that if you guys will notice from the last video, I tried to kind of change up all the poses on him. This is one where I really didn't do that because I was happy with the pose, and he unfortunately isn't the most posable figure, but I think he is still really cool. You can see him there. Great likeness to Chris Hemsworth. This is my personal favorite look for Thor, so I don't see any reason to get any other one for me personally. I might get the Endgame one though, because I would like to get the main 3. Thor, Iron Man, and Cap all in their Endgame look. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, we got a newer acquisition. This is the Iron Man Mark 50. This is a really great figure that you can definitely get on the cheap. I think I got him on the Sideshow Steal the Deal things, if you guys ever watch those videos. I think I paid like less than 300, like 280 for them. I'm so happy I did. Underrated figure, if you ask me, because it's from Infinity War, my favorite Marvel movie. So I'm just happy to have him to add to my Infinity War collection. Next up, we have the Hot Toys concept art, Captain America. If you guys watched my top 5 favorite Hot Toys figures that I own, you guys would have seen them on there. This is actually my favorite Hot Toys I own, mainly just because of the sentimental value, because he was my first ever Hot Toys I got in hand, and I love him for that. He is so good, and I think he's underrated. I know he recently sold out on Sideshow, but you might want to take a look and see if you can get him, because I think he's worth it. I don't have the endgame one yet, but I will probably get that, but as of now, this is my favorite cap. Down one shelf, we got my little Winter Soldier setup with Winter Soldier Bucky himself and Black Widow. I don't care for the Black Widow too much, but I wanted like a representation of her. I also have the Infinity War one, which I'll show you in a little bit, but that Bucky is insane. I love him. I do have a slight problem on the arm where the leather material is peeling, but I try to cover it up. That is a major problem with this figure, though. If you do end up getting it, definitely keep an eye out for that and try to maintain it. I didn't pay much for mine. I paid less than $300, which was a really good deal. And I know he's going for a lot now, especially with the show out. But there is a chance they might reissue him, so don't pay too high for him yet. And there will always be more Winter Soldier figures coming out, I'm sure. Moving over, we've got the Iron Spider. This is one of my first Hot Toys figures that I got, and I think he's really cool. He's my only Spider-Man so far. I might get another one at some point. The upgraded suit one looks really cool, and even the homemade suit. But I really like him. I don't have the Tom Holland head on because I just prefer him with the mask on. But this is a really great figure. He's a little hard to pose. I'm sure you've heard people kind of talk about the material they use on these Spider-Man figures, I guess you'd say. They do kind of crease. It fixes itself if you leave it in like a museum pose, but I kind of tried to do something in between where he is kind of in an action pose. One thing I will say, if you're gonna use a figure like this, don't use the kind of like hook grabber pieces. I'll show you the one that Star-Lord's using. Don't use them on that because they do leave marks on them. So I just have like a crotch grabber there. But I think I really like the pose I got him in, and I think he looked really cool. Next up, we got two of the newest additions to the Marvel display. We got Star-Lord and Nebula there together. They look really awesome, especially like that Nebula. That head sculpt is great. I think she's still on Sideshow. You might want to jump on her if you're a Guardians fan. But I think they look super awesome together. And Star-Lord kind of jumping there on this Doctor Strange thing. That is the Infinity War Star-Lord, obviously. I would like to get the Guardians one with the long trench coat, but I'll probably just hold out for Guardians 3 for something like that. But yeah, two really awesome figures. Nebula is a little bit of a pain in the butt to pose, but if you work with her, you can get her in a good pose too. Coming down, we've got Hawkeye and War Machine together. That I do have the deluxe Hawkeye with all the Ronin parts, but I had them like that for multiple months now, so I kind of got sick of that look, so I figured I'd change it over to the Hawkeye look. And him with War Machine, the War Machine Mark IV, they look so incredible together. That is my favorite War Machine. It's the only War Machine I have, but I just haven't seen the need to get any other one. The Mark VI looks pretty cool, pretty sleek, but I just prefer the Mark IV. Also, the Iron Patriot Mark V is really tempting, but it is pretty expensive. A little too expensive for me, but we'll see if I end up picking that up, because I do love that armor. It's probably my favorite War Machine armor, even more than the Mark IV. But I really like the Mark IV, and he definitely scratches that itch for a War Machine in your collection, if you ask me. Coming over here, we got Ant-Man and the Wasp together. Super happy to get the Wasp. I thought I was going to miss out on her, but I jumped on the wait list on Sideshow, and lucky for me, I was able to pick her up. But they look super great together. I tried to kind of do like some sort of action pose with the two of them. I think it's okay. I might need to work on the posing a little bit, but I really like the two figures. There's some of like the best pairing for two figures, right? What better pairing could you have for Marvel? So I love them together. They're super cool. Super happy to have them. I was actually able to squeeze Wasp's wings in the Detolf. I was a little scared I wouldn't be able to, but thankfully I was, and I think it looks great. Coming over, we got Deadpool. I change up the pose on him like almost weekly, I'd say. He's so fun to pose, and the material is pretty forgiving. Just so many posing options. If you guys watch my first video, you'll know the story about how I picked this guy up for only about $50-$60 on the app OfferUp. So you might want to check out that app if you're looking for maybe some potentially good Hot Toys deals. You're digging through a lot of stupid listings, but every once in a while you'll find a great deal, so it might be worth checking out. But yeah, love that Deadpool. I don't see a need to get a Deadpool 2 figure because this one is good for me. Down for the bottom shelves of my 3 Marvel, I've got the Infinity War Captain America and Black Widow. I really wanted to have these because I really wanted as many Infinity War figures as I can get because it is probably my favorite Marvel movie. Endgame and Winter Soldier are high up there too. Those are my 3 favorites, but really love Infinity War, and you can get all the figures for pretty cheap. These figures are maybe a little bit boring, which is why they're down here, because they're very muted colors. The head sculpts are great though, and if you just want a Cap or a Black Widow, just any one of them, then these 2 are pretty cheap and pretty cool. Coming over here, these 2 figures don't really go together, but I just needed room for them. We got the Barber Stan Lee and King T'Chaka, Black Panther's dad. I'm happy to have both of them. King T'Chaka, I was just happy to get to have some representation of Black Panther, because Black Panther is awesome. But his figures have unfortunately gone up substantially within the past couple months. But I think this is a cool representation of just Wakanda in general, so I'm super happy to have it. Also, Barber Stan Lee, I wasn't going to pick him up, but then Sideshow might still have it, where you can get him 30% off, plus free shipping. Plus, I had a bunch of rewards points and coupon code, paid like 60 bucks for this guy in total. And I don't think you can go wrong with that. His head sculpt is great, totally on the mark with Stan Lee, and I'm happy to have him. And then my last Marvel figure I have is the Iron Man Mark 43. This is an underrated Iron Man armor, if you ask me. It's the just kind of a perfect representation of like in between the very mechanical suits of the early on MCU and the nanotech suits. This will also pair well if you have a Hulkbuster. Man, I really want a Hulkbuster. They're really expensive. I don't know if I have $1,300 to go spend anytime soon, but maybe if I'm smart with my money, I can reward myself with buying one of those. But I would love that. But like I said, a really cool figure. You can get them cheap if you just want any Iron Man. Maybe check this one out. I think it's worth it. So yeah, that's all the Marvel figures. Alright, so moving on, right in between my kind of Marvel setup with these 3 shelves, I do have these were the old Jack specific ones. They were making these from like 2013 to like maybe they stopped 2018 or something. But they're like the large figures. So I've got R2D2, K2SO right behind them. Just kind of have something in the middle of the shelves. And then right here, this is my Transformers 3-0 shelf. Now starting from the top, these are not the 3-0 figures. These are Hasbro Generation type figures. They were just too big to go on my the shelf with the Generations figures, so that's why I put them on top here, and figure it's fitting to have them right above all the other Transformers. So we got Omega Supreme, who's absolutely insane and massive. Jetfire, who's another incredible figure. He's amazing. And then that's the this is the Bumblebee Greatest Hits Soundwave, and I painted the eyes red. He's alright. I don't love him, but I wanted a cassette Soundwave. Anyways, to what the more interesting part is the 3-0 figures. So top shelf I have Optimus and Bumblebee. These 2 are really awesome together. I especially love that Optimus. I love Optimus Prime in just about any form, so I was super happy to get him. Bumblebee looks super cool next to him. Below that, we got Soundwave with a Ravage there. Soundwave is my favorite Decepticon, so I needed this figure, and it's probably my favorite, maybe tied with Optimus, but still, super awesome. Below that, we've got Blitzwing, aka just Starscream, because that's basically just what I imagine Starscream looking like in the Bumblebee continuity. Especially when you see the next figure, you'll understand why I call this one Starscream. But yeah, this is like a perfect rendition of like a realistic kind of Seeker look, and I love this figure. It's super awesome. The stands they give you, while they're super big, you'll see that the Bumblebee stand, they do let you get some cool poses. So I got him flying, and I got Bumblebee jumping up there. Now, my final 3-0 figure might be my favorite of them all. That's the vintage color Blitzwing. He's pretty hard to get your hands on because I think he was pretty limited. He was like a Toy Fair exclusive or some sort of con exclusive, but I was super happy to get him. Purple is my favorite color, and even though it's a really muted purple, I still love it. And he's one of my favorites. He's definitely my favorite of the 3-0, one of my favorite figures in the entire collection. So I'm super happy to have. All right, so I'll move on to the next Hot Toys kind of shelf. That is the DC shelf here. Now, on top of the DC shelf, I didn't really have any kind of big DC figures to put on top, so I just kind of had an overflow of Star Wars stuff. So we got the Black Series TIE Fighter with a bunch of movie realization figures on top. Doesn't really go with the DC stuff, but it kind of folds in with the Star Wars stuff I got over there, which I'll show you guys that after this. But anyways, here is my first of the DC shelves. This is kind of like the Snyderverse shelf with the Justice League Superman. Super awesome figure. And then probably my favorite of all the, well, close to my favorite of all the DC figures, that is the battle damaged armored Batman. So happy to pick him up. Especially after watching the Snyder Cut, that movie was fantastic. I knew I needed a Ben Affleck Batman. I was able to get this one for a good price, and I'm so happy I was, because he is spectacular. Definitely recommend getting an armored Batman if you can get your hands on one. Coming down, I've got my Nolan trilogy figures. So we got Joker, that's the DX, I think it's DXL10, DX11, something like that. Super awesome. One of my favorite figures in the whole collection. He was like a grail of mine, and I was so happy to finally be able to get my hands on him. He is incomplete, but I was able to get him in a cool pose there with the money. So I had enough accessories to do some cool stuff. Next to him is the newest version of Two-Face. That one just came out like a year or two ago. He's really cool. Yeah, his suit is, it's not the most interesting look, but the head sculpt is so good. I think it's worth it just for that, just for this figure to get. Great figure. Both of them together look awesome. Can't wait to add a Batman. Below that, we got Arthur Curry, or Aquaman, from the Aquaman movie. Pretty underrated movie, if you ask me. It's kind of like your standard, almost origin superhero movie, but kind of had a cool twist with a lot of cool action and directing. So I knew I needed to add this figure, especially after watching the Snyder Cut. I was like, I need to add another DC figure to the collection, so I decided to pick up Aquaman because he was in stock at the time with free shipping, and I don't regret it, and I don't think you will either if you pick him up, because he just pops on the shelf. Bright orange and the bright green, it looks super awesome, and just kind of adds some extra color to your DC shelf. Final bottom shelf of the DC figures, I've got some Watchmen. These are actually from DC Direct. They're not Hot Toys figures, and they're definitely not Hot Toys quality. For me, Dr. Manhattan and the Rorschach, it doesn't really matter because they're okay enough. They don't have head sculpts, or actually, Rorschach does have a head sculpt under the mask, but it's so bad I'll never take that mask off. But they're cool for the most part. The comedian is, I'm not a big fan. He's kind of annoying, but I got all three of them together. The only thing I'll say that I really hate the comedian with is how people talk about the leather material on Hot Toys flaking. He is 100 times worse. I have to clean his display stand once a week because just particles of leather are coming off. So you might want to stay away from him, but Dr. Manhattan and Rorschach, I think, are both really cool figures and worth checking out if you're a fan of Watchmen. All right, so in between the DC shelf and the Star Wars shelf, I've got this super big Darth Vader. It's kind of hard to get a good look at him, but he's in between the shelves. I think he's one of the 50-inch ones from Jakks Pacific. Really cool figure there. Just to kind of have him there being a really cool presence. I am thinking, I don't think I'll buy it, but Sideshow has a life-size bust of Darth Vader for $1,000 that I think would look super cool somewhere on the Star Wars shelf, but we'll see about that. But anyways, here is the top of my Star Wars shelf. You can see this is kind of my Lego, well, I have a Lego set over there, but this is my main part with I got the two helmets and then the A-Wing there. The A-Wing and the Y-Wing are my two favorite Star Wars spaceships, so I just missed out on the UCS Y-Wing. Hopefully they do another re-release or something so I could pick that up too. Then I've got some Black Series lightsabers, Kylo Ren, Revan, and Darth Sidious. Definitely going to pick up the Ahsoka and the Darksaber ones coming out in the same series. And we got the Lego Darth Vader Castle. I love that set so much. And then the Black Series Stormtrooper helmet. And then behind them, we've got just some random art from I get a couple books from Star Wars, and some of them come with these cool inserts. So there's some concept art, some storyboards, more concept art, and then like a little X-Wing poster there. I am thinking about getting into like the fine art prints from Sideshow. I did order one from season 7 of the Clone Wars, and I might be picking up more. So those might go behind there if I end up getting more of those. So here's the first Star Wars shelf. First figure up is the Solo Darth Maul. Man, this figure is nuts. He's insane. That head sculpt, I know if you're like me, some of the initial pictures of the head sculpt didn't look quite right. It looked almost like a little too old for Solo to me, but it looks so much better in person. The outfit is great. Let's see, he's kind of fix that. But yeah, I'm so happy to have a Darth Maul because I didn't want to pay for the Phantom Menace one because he was going for pretty high prices. This one was pretty expensive too, but I think it's worth it. Like those robot legs are super cool. Let me show you. It goes all the way up his leg. They're super awesome looking. If you missed out on him, I wouldn't feel too bad because the Clone Wars one looks pretty cool. I'm actually thinking about picking up the Clone Wars one to go with Ahsoka when she inevitably comes out soon. I'm super excited about her. But yeah, super happy about that Solo Darth Maul. Really love him. Below that, we got Commander Cody. This figure's incredible. So far, I mean, if this bodes well for the clones, upcoming clones are going to be crazy. Hopefully Rex will be next, and the 501st Troopers, the Coruscant Guard, and then hopefully after that we get, Fox, Wolf, everyone else. Hope you picked this guy up if you're a Clone Wars fan, because I know he's sold out and is going for a lot now, because this guy is super awesome, and I love having him. And he's going to look awesome with Captain Rex and all of them. Below that, we've got Yoda and Qui-Gon. They don't totally go together, but I needed to put two figures together, and I figured these two were close enough. So I got like the two of them were just taking out some battle droids. Those were the parts from the Obi-Wan figure, those battle droid damage parts, but I think they look super cool together. Two of my favorite figures in the collection. These Jedi figures, when they sell out, go for a ton of money, and I know Qui-Gon's in stock now, so if you're thinking about picking him up, I say go for it. He is super cool, and that head sculpt is insane. Below that, we do have two First Order Stormtroopers. This is the 2-pack. I wasn't ever going to get any First Order Stormtroopers, but then I got this 2-pack for like, I don't know, $150 or something for the two of them, and I couldn't pass that up because I do like the designs of the First Order Stormtroopers. I think they are pretty cool, and just for that, I figured I'd pick them up because they were so cheap. And for the most part, they're pretty cool. So if you're kind of just a fan of the design, maybe don't be too scared to pick them up. Just knowing you're not going to get much for them in the future, probably. So there's that whole shelf. Moving over, we have probably my two favorite shelves, one after the other. First up, we got the Mando Grogu shelf, as you could say, for Mandalorians, because Grogu does count as a foundling. Got the Sideshow Mythos Boba Fett. Pretty cool figure, but he'll definitely be replaced by the Hot Toys one coming out soon. Deluxe Beskar Mandalorian, which is just one of the best figures Hot Toys ever made. One of the best action figures you can probably buy if you ask me. So don't sleep on him if you want him. And then Heavy Mando. Oh my god. This is another one that goes like hand in hand with Beskar, just being an insane action figure. You know, he sold out recently, and I'm really sorry if you didn't pick him up because he is so cool. If you can get him for good price, I'd say definitely go for it. Like I said, that shelf. Oh yeah, there's a little Grogu there holding his necklace. That shelf, one of my favorites. Insane. All of these figures are great. Below that, we got Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Like I said, this might be this shelf and that shelf, are my two favorite shelves in the collection. These two figures are probably the two best head sculpts in the collection, if you ask me, that I have. And I go back and forth on how I pose them all the time. Right now, I got them kind of doing the force attack on each other, and I think it looks super awesome. And I'm super happy to have the two of them because I know both of these figures go for a lot nowadays. if you can kind of see like the crotch grabbers, I put those on there because I have them in more like dramatic stances, so they kind of need the assist. But I don't think it looks too awful, and they just look super awesome together, and I'm so happy to have the two of them. Below that, we've got two figures that also don't really go together, but I figured Empire Strikes Back kind of theme, so we got Bespin Leia there with the... she came with that wall piece behind them, and I think that kind of helps tie the two of them together. And then we also have the vintage Boba Fett. That was a Christmas present this past year, and it was one of the best Christmas presents ever. Oh my gosh, that figure is so cool. Definitely get him if you can, if you're able to, because it just pops on the shelf. Like you look at the whole Star Wars shelf as a whole, your eyes are gonna go to him first. So I think it's worth it just for that. Below that, we've got my Last Jedi shelf. If you guys have followed my channel for a little bit, you will know that I actually do like The Last Jedi. Don't like either of the other two sequel movies, but I do enjoy The Last Jedi, so I wanted to get a couple figures. Now, that Art BB-8 and BB-9E are actually the Sphero ones. They're not Hot Toys, but I think they fit in just fine. And then we got Luke. I kind of tried to go for like a Mythos kind of look, where this isn't how he looked in the movie, but thought it was close enough to just being what you would imagine Luke being in super badass form. So he's got his green lightsaber and his blue lightsaber. He's dual wielding them, and I think it looks super awesome. And that head sculpt is super great. This is just a super underrated figure. And then we also got the Executioner Stormtrooper. He's really cool. One of my favorite variants on the First Order Stormtrooper disguise. First Order Stormtroopers. I don't know why I said disguise. But just a super awesome figure. And I was able to pick him up for pretty cheap. And I think he was worth what I paid for him. So I'm super happy to have him. So that's that entire shelf. And now finally, we get to the last Detolf in the collection. So in here we got Darth Vader. This is the 40th anniversary re-release that came in that super cool box. Don't miss out on this Vader, guys, if you want a Vader, because I'm sure there'll be a Return of the Jedi one after this, but that's not going to come out for, figure, 2-3 years maybe. So if you want a Vader and you want them relatively soon, pick him up. He's in stock on Sideshow, and he's super cool, super awesome. This display stand lights up, a lot of light up features, which is cool. I don't use them because they are kind of a pain and the batteries always die, but just really awesome figure. Pick them up if you're thinking about it. Below that, we've got my Mandalorian troopers. All three of these guys have recently sold out, which kind of stinks if you were hoping to get them. I was actually hoping to get a second Death Trooper, but probably not going to do that now. But we got the Remnant Trooper, Death Trooper in the center, and the Incinerator Trooper, and they look super cool together. They all kind of go together, and I'm super happy to have them all like that. I've kind of been trying to collect all the Mandalorian figures. So far, I have them all. I should be getting IG-11 soon, and then after that, I'm not sure what figure will be next, but I'm going to try to pick them all up. And these three are super cool additions to that collection. Below that, we got, again, two figures that don't entirely go together, but figured Season 2 finale of Mandalorian, you can do whatever you want, right? So we got technically the Endor version of Luke, but I don't have his Endor gear on. But I've got him standing side by side with the OG Mandalorian, who is an incredible figure. If you can get him for a good price, that's another one where I'm saying just go for him, because I have a feeling he's going to keep getting more and more expensive. And then I put the little Grogu in the pram with him. And then that's the Sphero R2-D2 in the center. I might change up this display and switch the OG Durasteel Mandalorian with the Beskar Mandalorian up there. I might switch them, but I thought Beskar Mandalorian should be front and center, even though that Durasteel one is super awesome too. But yeah, that's that shelf. It's a little crowded, but I think it looks pretty cool. Final shelf in the whole collection of Hot Toys, we got my Imperial shelf. So going left to right, that is actually an old Saga collection 12-inch Imperial Officer figure. I just popped the head off, and I popped the Tamora Morrison head from the Commander Cody over there, because I felt bad not putting it on the figure. I was like, what am I going to do with this head sculpt? I thought I could make a clone Imperial officer. All the way on the far right, that is again a like Power of the Force 12-inch Death Star droid. And he came with the mouse droid, but I think the two of them look pretty cool and definitely help complement this collection. And then in the center, we got two Stormtroopers. The one on the left is the Hot Toys Return of the Jedi Stormtrooper. One of my favorite, just kind of basic Stormtroopers you can get. And he came with the Imperial Wall display stand behind them. And then the one on the right is actually a Bandai 1/6 scale model kit. And he fits in pretty well, if you ask me. They've got similar helmets, and I think it works to kind of have two Stormtroopers of varying sizes to really differentiate the display and make them look like they're different people, because they're not clones, obviously. So I think that looks really cool, and that's one of my favorite shelves in the entire collection, actually, just because I think it has such a great cohesion to it. So yeah, that's the entire Star Wars side of the Hot Toys display. Now I'll just kind of move on to the rest of the random stuff I've got in my collection. Okay, so the next part of my collection is my Black Series figures. Sorry, it's a little bright and there's a lot of reflection. This is my small and shrinking collection. Over during Mandalorian, I got caught up in a lot of hype and bought a lot of these. But I am working on selling a lot of them because I really am just not interested. I'm going to keep a couple of the Mandalorian figures, maybe the Rebels. I think like I'm pretty much keep Mando, Stormtrooper, Vader, the Ahsoka, and then I'm keeping all the Clone Wars figures just because I love Clone Wars so much. I'm not sure what other figures in the future I'm going to be picking up. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get anything from the new wave. I'll probably get Ventress and Bo-Katan maybe, but I don't know. I'm just not really been into Black Series recently. So this is all that's left for my collection. All right, so kind of hand in hand with Black Series, I've got a bunch of vintage collection figures here. This is what I got, what is left, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna get rid of any of these because I do like them and they look pretty cool, all there together. I'm not, but like again, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be adding any in the future. Probably get the Ahsoka and the Maul, but I like all of these ones, how they're kind of in a nice, neat square. And I'm not sure. I used to be really into Black Series and didn't care at all about the vintage collection. But now that I'm keeping the vintage collection of the boxes, they look pretty cool like this. So I've been more into vintage collection recently. So over here, we've got a couple posters, Mandalorian, Endgame, Spider-Man. And then we've got that kind of Star Wars, kind of like canvas. And then a little Baby Yoda and Ghost over there. Then right above my bed, I've got a couple. These are the last Legends I have. These are like the vintage ones. We got a couple of those. I'm not planning on getting rid of these. I think they look super cool and cool all together and in like a little collection. So I'm happy to have all those. All right, so I'm gonna go over the Transformers. This is a little dark because I haven't figured out the lighting just yet. But so this is where I used to keep all my Funko Pops. I'll just do a quick little roll around of all those. I used to be big into Pops. Not really into them anymore. In fact, I've been selling a lot of mine. You guys will probably see I've got a lot of spaceships on the wall. These are the old, like, Hasbro 3 3/4 inch ones from Force Awakens and whatever. So I got an A-Wing, Silencer, X-Wing, TIE Striker, and a U-Wing, and then a giant Millennium Falcon sticker on the wall. Just to kind of utilize all the room I possibly can. So I figured I'd put some stuff on the ceiling. But anyways, for the Transformers. So we've got some Shattered Glass Autobots over there, Optimus and Ratchet. That kind of transitions into Beast Wars. Then kind of some random like Headmasters and kind of later G1. And then like the movie G1 stuff more. And then like the closer you get to the center, the more like G1 it is. And then the farther you move away, I kind of tried to make it so this is the more modern Beast Wars movie stuff, and then the closer you get to the center, the more G1-y it gets. So we got like Skywarp and the Seekers, Starscream, Shockwave, Megatron, Optimus. I did put Hot Rod and RC right in the center there, just because they're two of my favorite characters. But then we got a bunch of Autobots. Grimlock's kind of the divider that kind of moves into the movie figures. Then we got some Wreckers, some Headmasters, Rodimus Prime, then some Beast Wars figures, and then a Transformers Prime RC from the red line, and then also an Ultra Magnus who I couldn't fit there, so he's just on the end there. But this is all probably going to get reorganized at some point to give, and then probably get better lighting. Not quite sure what I'm going to do, but I do want to give these Transformers some more room to kind of shine. But that's the collection as it stands right now. Okay, so the last major thing to show off, as you probably noticed, in between the Transformers and DC shelf, we've got this whole dresser, which is mostly all clothes in there, but there's some, I use it for storage too. But then on top of it is the cool stuff. So I got a Watchmen comic there, an archive Commander Cody and Thrawn, some random Hot Wheels. That's the Black Series Boba Fett helmet. This is the, I think this was at GameStop, the Mandalorian jewelry set. Super happy to have this. It looks super awesome. Lego Razor Crest, my PlayStation. This is a 3D printed Han Solo blaster, and this is made with real wood, and it's super cool looking. I got this off a guy locally, but I'm super happy to have it. I think it looks super cool. You'll see behind my TV here, I had to hide some Lego sets. So we got Kylo Ren's ship there, and then an AT-DP back there. Yeah, I just ran out of room for Legos, so they're hidden back there. Then these are my movies and Blu-rays and whatever. I've got Baby Yoda chilling on top, but got all the first 6 Star Wars movies on the Steelbook. 7 and 8 I do not, but then 9 I do. Rogue One is just a normal Blu-ray. Don't have Solo yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up because I like Solo, but I'm not crazy for it. Then we got the Transformers movies, Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Terminator. Most of my Marvel, I am missing a couple Marvel movies, but I do have the majority of them, and quite a few were on Steelbook, which is pretty cool. Got that little Lego set on top. Star Trek, some Quentin Tarantino movies. Down here we've got more PlayStation games, Game of Thrones, Dark Knight box set, some DC movies, the Watchmen show, just some random stuff. And this is kind of just my whatever section where I ran out of books, ran out of room for these, like some comics, Star Wars comics, Marvel comics, Thrawn, some random guidebooks, stuff like that. 3 Grand Admiral Thrawn figures. Grand Admiral Thrawn and Ahsoka are my 2 favorite Star Wars characters, so I wanted to give Thrawn some room to shine there. And then there's some Gentle Giant mini busts. Now, inside these dressers, as I said, I'll just show this off. So these are my Hot Toys accessories. I've got a couple bins of them, and then these bins are, so it's like Star Wars, Marvel, and Miscellaneous. And then I also have this extra Power of the Force Boosh figure. It looks pretty bad, so I'm not displaying that right now. But that's how I keep my Hot Toys accessories, and they're all in Ziploc bags with Sharpie on them, so you can see like Vintage Fett, Solo Mall, other ones, Deadpool, that kind of thing. So that's how I keep my accessories organized. Below here is where it gets a little shady. This is kind of me hoarding some Lego sets and Transformer stuff. Definitely need to figure out a way to display them. I see I got the Falcon, an X-Wing, Y-Wing, some random Lego sets in there that I really want to display. I just don't have the room, unfortunately. So that's one end. And then over here, we got a couple more. And then a vintage Marvel comic that I want to hang up at some point. But this is just most of my storage then. Yeah, it's not closing. Alrighty. So yeah, that's that whole section. Last thing I'm going to show off is this is my closet where I keep most of my clothes. But on top, there's this little shelf. And then that's where I keep most of my Hot Toys boxes. It's really hard to see, but it goes all the way up to the ceiling. That's the one downside of collecting Hot Toys, is you're going to have a lot of extra boxes. And so there's like all Marvel, Transformers boxes. And then over on this side, there's a whole bunch of Star Wars boxes and DC. So yeah. Oh, and then for my shippers, I keep the larger shippers. So this is like Thanos or like the figures that are larger. and then I break down all the smaller shippers and keep them inside. So that's just kind of a cool way to, you know, keep the shippers but kind of condense them. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my latest collection tour. I really appreciate you checking this out and supporting me in my obsession with Hot Toys and Transformers and everything else. I'm thinking about doing like collection updates every couple months, so let me know what you would think of that. I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks so much for watching.